The second option is to mix down to stems. Now, there's a reason this is important, and as I mentioned earlier on, it's because often when you're working for TV or film, the person you send this stuff to after it's finished might want to basically remix the mix of the music. And that's not because you've done it wrong, it's because they might have specific needs which come up and transpire, become clear after you've sent them the stuff. So you can do the greatest job in the world, but they might still need to take the strings out of a certain bit, or they might need to push the vocal up in a certain bit. And there's no way you can know that until, well, you can't know that. They know it when they're actually finishing everything off. So to output stems, you would go to the channel batch export option here, tick that. And then basically you could choose each of the bits you wanted to put out, like this. You could include a copy of the stereo out, which is a stereo mixdown if you like. Don't have to. You could choose, it makes sense in this case to choose a folder because you're going to output more than one file. So I could choose a folder and I could call it stems and save. There's another interesting thing here, naming scheme. You can choose to add things like channel number to a file, channel type, channel name, project name, counter, and you can even reorder the order in which they go, which is quite handy actually, because if you're exporting lots of stuff, the person who's working on your mix, your post mix, isn't necessarily going to know exactly what you've done. So if they can get the files and it says project A, channel 3, piano, scene 4, or something like that, that's going to really help them out. And in turn, it's going to really help you out because you'll probably get more work. So that's fine. And then I could export those. That would take a minute longer because it has to do things separately. But when it's done, if I then look in my stems folder, here are my stems. And you can see that what it's done is it's used the naming convention I specified. So it's my project, the track number, track type, and the track name. You can rearrange those, or you can remove some or add more in the window that we just saw. And the great thing about these is, because you've set your left and right markers correctly, they'll all start at exactly the same point. And so the person who's working on them at the other end in Final Cut or Avid or Premiere can just import these in really easily. So for example, there's my piano on its own. There are my drums on their own, and so forth. And of course, I could have given a stereo mixdown as well by specifying that in the audio mixdown menu by adding stereo output channel.